Hi, my name is Megan, and this is Everything Lit. And today, I am bringing you my September TBR. Now, this is going to be, I want to say slightly smaller than August's TBR, but not by much. And October's TBR is giant because I am so ready for spooky season. But I have a couple books to get to before we get into official Halloween scary books. Or not even scary, I like gothic romances. So let's start with the library books, or library holds, I should say, that I expect to come in September. So first is Page Boy by Elliot Page. I am interested in this memoir. I think I don't want to say struggle, but I think their journey is probably very interesting and very illuminating. Elliot Page is probably one of the most public transitions, and not just public, but one of the most beloved people to transition, because like we could talk about the Jenner, like people love Elliot Page, like they have a successful acting career, and what I'm fascinated by is like playing female characters for so long. How did that impact their understanding of their own like, I'm just fascinated, okay? I expect The Honeymoon Crashers to come in. It is an audiobook, and this is a sequel, well, like a mini sequel. It's kind of a novella to The Unhoneymooners, which I just read in July, and it follows the sister who was getting married in the first, who got married in the first book. I'm pretty sure it follows her as a bridesmaid now for her sister. No spoilers for The Unhoneymooners, but I loved that book. I love the rom-com energy, and this one also takes place in Hawaii, so it's gonna be a fun time. And then a cozy mystery, but my first cozy paranormal is A Spell for Trouble, and I believe it's by Esme something. I'm gonna put it on the screen. This is about a character who goes back to their hometown and discovers that they're a witch, maybe, or there's some sort of family curse, and then someone gets murdered, and I think they're blamed for it, or their dad is blamed for it. All I know is that it's a cozy mystery, and it's paranormal. Let's get into the books that I own, because I may still listen to some of these on audio. First, I put sticky notes on it to tell me where the audiobook is available, so I have this available on Hoopla. Let me pull that off. I have Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe. I'm so ready, I already have a bookmark in it. This is chick lit, romance adjacent, cozy, about a woman who goes back to her hometown and is taking over the Blackbird Cafe from her grandmother. Initially, she was just gonna like sell it off, I think, but then she gets drawn into this little town that her mother ran away from, and it was one of my 5-star predictions. It's the last one that I have to read before I can, give final thoughts and actually tell you if my 5-star predictions were 5 stars. I would like to read The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This has been making the rounds on BookTube. It is her newest romance. I didn't love The Dead Romantics, but this one's time travel. So this is about a girl who inherits an apartment from her aunt, and then while she's there, a man is there and he's living there, but he's actually living there 7 years in the past. So the apartment like slips through time, or like is a slip in time, but I don't know. Like, the thing with romances like this is that the stakes feel higher, right? Because how the heck are you gonna make a romance work when they are living 7 years apart? It adds that extra mystery to the romance, because in a lot of romances, the drive to keep reading, the drive to get to the end is like, how do they end up together? Or at least for me, that is. I want a romance that isn't, I don't want to say that isn't easy, but the conflict needs to be bigger than, I misunderstood what he said, and then I got mad and stormed out, and we haven't talked in 3 months. Like, I just need the conflict to be bigger, and that's why I like romances with some element that keeps the characters apart or makes it seem harder for them to get together rather than just, human folly. Excited to read this. And once again, this is one of the first books I'm going to pick up September 1st. And I got a little lemon bookmark because the cover is yellow and there are lemons on the cover. A book that I have desperately needed to read since February, that long, is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. This is a gothic romance about a woman who tells her husband, yep, we can get married, but you can't ask anything about my past. Like, they fall in love, but he cannot know anything about her past. And he agrees to that. He's like, that's fine, your past doesn't matter. It's real Backstreet Boys vibes, as long as you love me. Then her aunt or a relative is sick and needs to be taken care of. So they go to her family house and he starts learning about her past. I'm seeing a theme in these first 3 books, like someone is ill and or dying, and that impels the character to do something. Very interesting. I would like to finish A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. This is the 3rd in the Shades of Magic trilogy, and I haven't been loving it, but the last one left on a cliffhanger, and I really do want to pick this up like ASAP before the drive to do so drifts away. It's pretty chunky. This trilogy is about a magician who can travel between worlds, and in this fantasy world there are universes stacked on top of each other, so the main character can travel between Red London and White London and Grey London, and then there is a mythological Black London where their magic kind of like devoured the world. And in the first book, an item from Black London makes an appearance and sets them off on adventures. The sequel trilogy, Threads of Power, I think it comes out in September or October. So I'm kind of debating if I want to pick that up right away or wait until those are in softcover, because I have all these in softcover. I want to pick up Such Pretty Flowers by K.L. Kara. This is a book that I randomly picked up and bought at the bookstore because the back of it sounded incredible. And I like to include something that I have very recently bought in my TBR for the month, because why did I buy it if I didn't want to read it right now, So this is the book that I'm interested in. This is about Holly, who received a message from her brother Dane before he was found dead, very gruesomely killed in his girlfriend's Savannah, Georgia townhouse. And so Holly, our main character, wants to go investigate, and she starts following the girlfriend and stalking her, and maybe also falling in love with her and finding out some of her secrets. It sounds twisty, it sounds a little queer, and it sounds like a, murder mystery thriller. I finally want to read Sundial by Catriona Ward. I don't actually know what this is about. I just know that The Last House on Needless Street was one of my favorite books last year and absolutely a standout. I still think about that book. I really want to reread it, but probably not this year. This is about a mother-daughter relationship, and the mother is worried about her daughter who collects animal bones and whispers to imaginary friends, but they are also running from her family ranch. It's very interesting. This cover is very different from the hardcover, so I don't really know what to expect. And I didn't know what to expect from The Last House on Needless Street, but I have the audiobook coming in from the library. I want to read Murder for the Modern Girl by Kendall Culper. This is a 1920s fantasy. We've got a mind reader, we have a shapeshifter, we have murders, all set in 1920s Chicago. I would like to continue in the Throne of Glass series, so I will read Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. This series is about an assassin, and in the first book she is trying to compete in this tournament to be the king's assassin, and now we're following the aftermath of that. I didn't love Throne of Glass. I didn't get the hype. Like A Court of Thorns and Roses, I loved. Throne of Glass, and I'm assuming that every book gets better, and Throne of Glass was like her very first book. So I'm gonna give it a couple books. I have this one and I have the third one already. So I'll probably give it the first 3, and then if I hate it or if I don't care anymore, I might stop or I might continue, we'll see. And finally, I would like to get to The Sacrifice by Rin Chapeko. This I picked up, it must have been last year, and it seems like a very summery horror. So it's straddling that line between like August, September, October, summer horror. And this is about a group of people who go to this island. It's a Hollywood film crew, and then people start dying, going missing. They're getting like sacrificed to some sort of god, maybe. It sounds creepy and it sounds beachy. You know, this is a good like vacation read, but also it's almost spooky season. So those are the 12 books that I would like to read in September. I think I can do it because, no spoilers, but August has been phenomenal as far as a reading month. Like it might be the most books I've ever read in a month. I'm absolutely killing it. But I also posted less videos and did less writing. So like, I gotta find balance. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, you could subscribe if you want to see if I actually do read all these books or what else I read. But really, you can do whatever you want. And I'll see you next time.